Alrighty. So if you'll go to today's Moodle page, of course you could have watched the video about designing a resume and everything. You can download everything that you'll need for this project. You can have a digital copy of the instructions that we have. One thing you'll need to download is this GD icon JPEG. This is a small picture that we're going to place into your resume. And we're going to learn how to place pictures using InDesign as well. And you can also download a PDF example of the resume that we're going to be creating with this. As an extra bonus, if you want to create your own resume design, like the first project, the one you're going to turn in is, they're all going to look the same, the designs that we're going to create. This is going to help you just kind of practice using InDesign. But if you want to come up with your own design, make your own layout for your own resume, for 10 extra bonus points, you can turn it in by next Monday. You can work in InDesign to create your own resume layout. Spruce it up however you want, add whatever colors, pictures, and text that you want to have with it as well. And these are the things that I'm looking for. Use at least 3 different size of fonts, size of texts, at least 2 different fonts. Have some sort of line or image element, add a picture, add some line artwork, and I want you to use tabs. We're going to get in today some basics of how to add and set tabs to a document that you have, in addition to adding images to your work. So remember to open up InDesign. It's going to be the purple document, purple icon down on your dock. And this is what our final document is going to look like once you have it set up. You're going to, of course, set your margins. We're going to add one big text box to the left-hand side, a smaller text box to the right-hand side, and then you're going to add a picture box in which you're going to add that GD icon JPEG to the document we're going to be working on. And I'll refer back and forth to this once we're working on it. Also, let me pull up the project instructions so I can go back and show you as we're working along with it. Rotated it. Wanted to zoom in. As you look at these instructions, don't let the amount of text that's on here overwhelm you. What I've done is I've broken it down into step by step, into exactly what you need to do. So all you got to do is follow one step to the next one. And I've divided each section. I'm telling you how I formatted each of the text. For instance, if you look on the back of the handout I gave you, I'm saying how to format your name when you type your name in. You're going to use this font, Helvetica. It's going to be bold, and it's going to be this size and this color. So as you type in your information, you'll know what you should say on the left-hand side. How to format it will be on the right-hand side. And I tried to be as specific as possible. That's why it's at least 3 pages long. It's not that it's detailed or complex. It's just I was trying to be really, really specific. Any questions on that before I move on? Okay. Let's jump back into InDesign, and we'll actually set up a document that we want to work on. I'm going to close that back down. Remember, the yellow icon will dock that down into your dock. First of all, when you start off creating a new document, thank you, you can always go to File, down to New, and choose Document. And the first thing that will come up is your New Document dialog box. Always remember, the most important thing is what size are you going to be working on? What size is your final product going to be? Think about building a document like building a house. You wouldn't just start building a house. You got to lay a foundation first. How that foundation is, the size of it, and the depth of it determines what you can do with your document. And so that's what setting up a new document will allow you to do. For this document, we're going to keep it at letter size, 8.5 by 11. But we're going to set up some margins down at the bottom, and the margins are going to help keep everything in line as we set them up. So for the margins, they're going to be 1/2 inch on the left and right sides. You're going to have to unlink this so that you can type in specific things on each side. So let's see. Oh, right now I see inside and outside. If I uncheck facing pages, there we go. Now I've got my left and right. Did I explain facing pages to y'all last time? It's been a week since I've seen y'all. I've forgotten everything that I've taught you. I hope you've forgotten everything I've taught you. Facing pages, this little option, imagine if you had a book sitting out in front of you. And there's going to be 2 sides to each page. You're going to have a left and right page. And when you fold it together, each of the pages will be, quote, facing each other. So when you want to lay that a book out or a newspaper or a magazine, if you have facing pages option turned on, this will allow InDesign to set up your document where the pages are on left and right side of the document you're working on. Conversely, when you set up your margins, you're going to have an inside and an outside edge, inside of the spine and outside of the spine. But if you turn off facing pages, you're just working on one page at a time, and they're going to build on top of each other, and then you got a left and right. So when I say make a left and right margin, that's really what I mean, is this side right here. I've already got 1/2 inch put in there. I'm going to type in for the top and bottom 1 inch margin. So I want to highlight that, type in 1, type in 1 again, and we'll say OK. All right, and so I've got my new document that's created. By the way, if you have more than one document open, you can see that it will dock 2 of the same windows together. I've got my resume right here. I can click on that tab and it'll open, and I can do my untitled document in this tab. This is just a great way of saving space when working in InDesign, so you can quickly go back and forth between multiple documents. But I want to be able to just have this in its own window. So I'm going to click on it and drag it off. And so now it's opened in its own window, and I can work from there. I'll even close this one out since I'm not going to need it. Remember, the margins are the inside area of your page where everything is going to kind of lay out. We don't want anything to go outside of the margins, and we certainly don't want anything to go outside of the page. Anything you do create outside won't print, so make sure that's on the page itself if you want it to be able to print from there. First thing, let's jump right in and actually start creating, drawing some lines and creating some different things on our document. What we want to do is we're going to draw a line going down the side, the left side of our page. To do this, we've got a tool that allows us to draw lines. It's our line tool. It's located right next to the T, the type tool. With it selected, making a line is simply a matter of clicking and dragging. You can see I've got a blue guideline that it'll create. If I hold down my shift key, it'll automatically give me a straight line to work with. So the shift key comes in handy a lot for keeping things parallel or straight once we're working with it. When I let go, the line has now been created. I'm going to grab my zoom magnifier and zoom in so you can see it. So I've got a starting point, and if I was to scroll down, I'd have an ending point down here. Once you create a line, one thing to pay attention to is its color and the width of it. And you can find that at the top center of your control panel. This the stroke color swatch will allow you to change up the color of it. So if I was to hit the out arrow, I can choose some of these predefined swatches. So if I want to turn it red, I can click on it. It's still pretty thin, so let's make it thinner so I can see it. To adjust the size of it, it's this number in the center of the top of your control panel. It's measured in points, and right now it's 1 point. If I was to click the up arrow, I can make it thicker going that way. So changing the color, changing the thickness of it, and this option here will allow you to change the style of it. There's some predefined styles in InDesign that you can choose from. It's like you can have a dashed line, thick and thin lines, all within the same amount. And that's all going to depend on the width that we're working with. For this particular project, we're just going to keep it at 1 point in width, so I'm going to bring it back down to 1. But I want to have it in a specific spot. I went ahead and just drew it off in kind of an arbitrary place. I want to move this over and have it at exactly 2 inches away from the edge of my margin. You can see there's a ruler at the top and along the sides of my InDesign document, and this is a great little way of telling where everything is at. So if I was to click on this document, I can move it over, and if you see on my ruler, you can see a little line that appears wherever I'm moving something. So I can move it over to the 2, and I'm also asking to move it up to the, the 1 inch from the top edge of here. But let me show you an even better way of giving a precise measurement, putting it exactly where you want it to go to. On the far left-hand side of your control panel, this is your X and Y coordinates of where the first starting point of your line would be. For this one, if I typed in exactly, let's hope this works, exactly 2 for the X, and then 1 for the Y, and hit return, it jumped it up from there. Let me back up. I'm going to undo. I know exactly what I did. I'm going to undo, back up 1, move item, bring it back down. Another thing to pay attention to is this little cluster of squares on here. I want this top point. See how there's 3 points in a row? This is the beginning, the middle, and the end point of my line. And it's called its reference point. I want the reference point for just this top one to be exactly 2 inches from the top, and 2 inches from the side, and 1 inch from there. When I hit return, now I know it's jumped into there. I'll even move it across to redo it. So 2 inches, 1 inch, and that'll place it from there. As far as the length of it, I want it to go all the way down the side of my page, and so I know the length of it needs to be 9 inches, and that's where the L right here would come in handy. So I'm going to type in 9. When I hit return, I'm going to zoom out. So now I've got a line going down this side right here. By the way, a good little keyboard shortcut to remember. If you want to zoom in and zoom out on whatever you're working on, if you'll hit the Command key, which is the little clover-looking key that's next to your spacebar, and the plus sign, that'll zoom in on your document, wherever the center of your document will be. Command plus and Command minus will zoom back out. And so that's how I quickly zoom in and out to see what I'm working on. Before I move on, any questions about making lines? Adding specific coordinates? That's going to be kind of key to creating exact things once you're working on what you're creating. Let's add some type to what we're working on. So we're going to add the actual information to this particular side of our document. So to create type, remember we can't just choose the type tool and click wherever we want and start typing. We've got to make a text box. So I've got my type tool. I'm going to click and drag straight down. I've got my little insertion point. It's a little blinking cursor at the top left-hand side. But I want to put my box at a specific point, starting on the right-hand side of my page. So I'm going to choose my Move tool again, my little black arrow selection tool. And once again, I'm going to choose my reference point to be this top corner edge. So I'm going to choose that one right there. And I'm going to type in a starting point of X is going to be 2. My Y insertion point is going to be, my X is going to be 2.5. 2.25. My Y is going to be 1. And I want a height and a width to be exactly 5 3/4 by 9. So here's my width. So 5 3/4. My height is going to be 9 inches. I've typed it up there. And so now my text document will be exactly where I need it to be on the right-hand side of the page. Now I can start adding the text to what I'll be typing in. What I suggest you do as you type in your information, I'll show you what we can do. Type out each paragraph all at once and then go back and format it. So I'm going to type in my name, the address, and contact information first, if y'all bear with me. And then we'll go back and actually add the formatting that it needs to be. So Benjamin Ivy, 123 Main Street, Clinton, Mississippi, 601-555-3. I'm going to zoom in so I can even so we can see what I'm working in. So hitting Command and the plus sign. Here's another great keyboard shortcut. Let's see. If you look really closely on the document that we have, instead of having just a dash, you have a bullet point. You have a dot that's typed out on your document. To type a bullet point, the quick and easiest way of doing this, I'm going to hit space. Instead of hitting Shift and the number 8, which will give you an asterisk, hit Option and the number 8, and that'll give you a bullet point. That usually only works for Macintosh. For Windows, I think there may be another hotkey that you would have to use. But if you're on a Mac, Option 8 will always give you a bullet point that you can work with. And I'll type in my address, ivy@mc.edu. Great. So I've got everything typed out. All I have to do now is go back and highlight my text and reformat it. Do y'all remember where the to change up the font and text should be located? Top left. Very good. Most everything that you're going to need to do to format the text is going to be found in this top left area. We'll get over to the right side in a couple of more lessons. Main thing you're going to be working in as far as fonts go is Helvetica. So you can click the down arrow and choose find Helvetica. There's a lot of them on here. Actually, when you choose Helvetica, there's a couple of different types of Helvetica. For this one, we're going to choose Helvetica and bold. So I've changed it up. Remember to change the font size is right here. So type in 24 and hit return. Make it nice and large. And to change the font color is found in the center of your type box. In this case, it's going to be red. So I've highlighted it and changed up everything. Same thing for these next two lines. These are going to be practically the same thing. So I'm going to highlight both lines at the same time. Here's a quick way of selecting a font. If you'll put your cursor right at the beginning of it and start typing the name of the font. So I'm going to start typing Helvetica. Notice it automatically brings it in, so if I can hit return, it'll automatically change up the text I'm working on. Size of it's going to be 14. And I need to change it from regular to oblique. Oblique is just another fancy word for italics, or just shift it off to the left. And so now I've worked from there and created that. If I was to keep hitting return, I'm going to double space it down. I'm going to type in graphic designer. Notice that it's going to keep the same format that I had, so I'll have to still go back and rechange it. But since I've already got Helvetica, that's one quicker way to do it. I'm going to type in some dummy text rather than typing in. This is called your resume objective. This is the type of work that you want to do. It's just a brief paragraph describing who you are and what you're looking for, and what kind of job that would fit best for you. In my case, I would be a graphic designer, and I'm looking for a graphic design type position. What I'm going to type in for here is just some quick dummy text instead of y'all watching me actually type out something. What's the weirdest job y'all have ever had to apply for or gone to? I used to work on the groundskeeping crew here at MC. That was one of my first jobs. If you want a great way to lose weight and get a tan at the same time, try carrying a weed eater all over campus in the middle of the summer, having people yell at you that you missed a spot, having to go back. Okay, so I've just typed in some dummy text. Y'all type in a descriptive paragraph that best fits you. Again, once you need to, you can highlight the text, change up the font and the color. In this case, it's going to be Helvetica Bold again. And the size of it's going to be 16. And even though I didn't say it, I know this needs to be red as well. From there. Great. Very simple, very easy to do stuff. Now here comes the fun part. We're going to actually start adding tabs and aligning the work that we have, that we're working with. Notice in these next sections, as you list out your education or your work history or anything that you do, we want to leave a large space, then have a bullet point, and then have another space, and then start typing out the text that we have from there. To do this, we're going to have to format it a specific way. We're going to have to use tabs. So I'm going to type in, let's say, my education. And I'm not going to worry about formatting them. If you'll look on your instructions, I literally tell you to type a tab. Wherever it says tab, I want you to type the tab key, which is located next to your Q on your keyboard. So in this case, I'm going to hit tab. Then how do you do a bullet point? Option 8. And then I'm going to hit tab one more time, and then actually type out my education that I wanted to do. So I'll do Mississippi College. And then I'm going to hit return. Now keep in mind, it took one tab to get to this bullet point. I need to hit tab again to get to this alignment. So 2 tabs, tab and tab, and now I'm aligned with Mississippi College. Masters of Fine Arts. I'm going to hit return again. 2 tabs, 2006 to 2009. And I'm done. I'm going to do that first one just for now. Let's throw down for education. We're going to make it bold. We're going to make it 16 points, and we're going to make it red. That's done. Next thing I need to do is format this one. So I'm going to highlight it. I want it to be Helvetica Bold. So I've got Helvetica. Change it to bold. Font size is going to be 12. and we're going to keep it black, so it's going to be a little smaller. As a matter of fact, I know these two things are going to remain Helvetica oblique. All I got to do is change up the size of it to 12, and we've brought it down that way. So I've got that done. Everything's great. Here's the quick way of adding more education or more things that you need to your document. I'm going to select both of these texts, all 3 lines that I have, by clicking and dragging. I'm going to go to Edit and Copy. Then all I have to do is give me a double space and edit and paste. Now everything is pre-formatted for me. All I have to do is type it in again. So, you know, Clinton, Scoop. In this case, I don't even need this line. But since it's pre-formatted, whatever I type in there, it's all good. I don't have to go back and mess with readjusting the font and readjusting the sizes of it. All I have to do is change up the name of it, or the information, and it'll work out. When did I start high school? Goodness, 2003. All right. Same thing for any other section that you're going to work on. So notice that work history has the same heading and also has the same formatting for the information under it. So I can easily select an entire area and a heading, go to Edit and Copy, give myself a double space, go to Edit and Paste. By the way, are y'all noticing the keyboard shortcuts over here? Command C, Command V for cut and paste, copy and paste, excuse me. And so now all I have to do is change up the heading, work history, and change up any subhead that I had as well. Let's see, Mississippi College, Graphic Designers Guild. Ooh, too much. And keep flowing from there. 2,012,000, there we go. Y'all get the point? Very, very simple. So that's how you can quickly copy information, paste it down there, especially if it has the same formatting that you're working through. We're not going to deviate very much from using the Helvetica font family and those font sizes as you type in the information. But here's one thing you do need to know how to do. Notice how there's a larger space here and there's a shorter space between this tab. We need to set the distance between the tabs that we've set. On here, they're evenly spaced. So I need to bring all this information over to the left a little bit more. To do this, we're going to use our tabs dialog box. So I'm going to zoom back out. Once you've typed all your information, what I want you to do is to highlight it. Just select all of it using your text tool. Then you're going to bring up your tabs dialog box by going to, let's see if I remember this, type, and then choose tabs. It's going to open up a dialog box. Usually it's on top of whatever type box that you've created. In the tabs dialog box, this will allow you to set the alignment for whatever tab that you have set up, that you've typed in whatever text box that you've created. This is what I mean for that. Let's scroll back over and actually set the tabs to a specific point. We're going to set 2 different tabs since we set tabs on here. And these are going to be left aligned tabs. This first little tab set here, this is your left justified tab, so I've got it highlighted. Then click anywhere along this ruler and you can see there a line will appear. And when I let go of my mouse, you can see the text will jump to that specific point. In other words, everything for this tab will be aligned to that particular tab. Hope that didn't sound too confusing. Now, I know this first one needs to be set at 1/2 inch, and you can see as I click and drag it over, the X coordinate will change in that box. So right there's 1/2 inch. So those are aligned right at 1/2 inch. And the other one's going to be set at 3/4 inch. So I'm going to click again, right around 3/4. Bring this one back in. And now my type has been set to that particular tab there. And I can move it over wherever I want. If I needed more space, I can set my tab over and so it will jump to that particular area right there. In this case, we're just going to set it at 3/4 of an inch. If I was to continue typing, so I've got my type tool and I hit return and I hit tab again, it'll automatically still align with this tab. And I can hit tab again and it'll automatically now align with this tab. So this is just a great way of easily and quickly aligning the information that you need when you're setting columns of text. And you can add as many tabs as you want that'll actually fit within the type box that you're creating. Any questions before I move on? Very simple, very easy. All we're going to use is just this one. Later on we'll get into the other tabs and what they'll do once we're working with it. Alright, last thing you're going to do is to create a type box on the right hand side and type in your interest, and we're also going to do one for the picture that you created. So this type box, I've got my type tool, click and drag. We're going to give it the specific coordinates. I'm going to choose my move tool to change the coordinates. Notice that when I have my type tool, I can only change my font, but when I choose my selection tool, now I can change my coordinates. It's very important. For this one, it's going to be exactly 5 inches, 5 inches over and 2.5 inches down. So 5, tab, 2.5. Oh boy, man, it's really going to mess up. It doesn't have to be right at 5. Working without a net here. Sorry for that. I know for a fact it needs to be right here. And I'll figure it out right here. Should be 1/2 inch. Instead of 5 inches, I've got a typo on my, or maybe I just didn't see it. It should be 0.5 inches. And now it should be 2.5 inches down. The width and the height should be 1 1/4 and 7.5. Just like that. So that's where it will go in from there. If y'all see me making a mistake, please feel free to give me a shout out. Same thing. The information is going to be formatted from here, so I'm going to highlight that. By the way, a quick way of highlighting something is simply to double click on it, and that'll highlight whatever word that you had selected. Edit and copy. I'm going to bring my type tool over here, go to edit and paste. I've got it formatted in there. In this case, we're going to type in our interests. But instead of having everything left aligned, you need to make sure it's highlighted, and we're going to make it right aligned from up here. Everything else also will be in black once you type out your interest that you're working from. So Photoshop, cooking, woodworking. Aha! See, I've got way too much information in there. If you do have to type in more letters than fits in the box, you can always highlight it, and we'll fudge on the size of the font. We'll make it slightly smaller till it all fits in there as well. Last thing that you need to know to finish up this particular project is how to insert a picture. To make a picture, just as we've inserted text with the text tool, we're going to use the rectangle frame tool to insert a picture inside of it. Pictures go in frames, so the frame tool is what you'll use. We're going to insert it at the very top corner, so I'm going to draw a text box right there. And I've gone ahead and pre-downloaded the graphic design icon and saved it into a folder called Resume Project, and this is what it will look like. To insert a picture into your text box, you can go to File, and we're going to place it. Notice that the keyboard shortcut is Command D. The way I remember placing it is like you're dropping it in. Command D for dropping it in. With that selected, it's going to bring up a window that will allow you to choose what picture you want, so you'll have to find it. So I know it's on the desktop, and I saved it in. There's the Resume Project, and there's the icon that I want to place in there. And I'll hit Open, and automatically it placed that picture inside of my rectangle frame that I'm working within. Once you've finished up this resume or whatever resume that you're going to work on, you'll need to be able to print it off. Remember to print. We'll go to File and Print. And the printer we're going to choose from is our color printer, which is the phaser printer, to print it off. In this case, I'll hit Cancel. By the way, one last thing to show you. If you do want to see what your document will look like without having all the margins and the blue bounding boxes around your type and your picture boxes, here's how you can turn them off. The keyboard shortcut to turn off your margins is Command and the colon button next to the L. Command colon will turn off the pink bounding box that goes around your page. Now it still leaves on the blue bounding box around each of your type boxes. So to turn that one off, let's hope I remember this one. You're going to hold down the Control, the Command, and hit the letter H for hide. Control Command H will turn off now the bounding boxes that you're working from. So now you're just seeing the image as it will actually be printed off from there. If you hit those again, it'll turn them back on. Command colon, Command Control H will turn on your margins again. What questions do y'all have before we move on? Everybody feel confident with us? Okay. We'll see how far y'all get today. If we need to have extra time to work on it, I don't mind extending this project on till to next week if y'all need to keep working on it. Turn your computer back over to y'all. If you have any questions, just let me know.